I consider myself to be a pretty decent wrestling fan. But I have to say this, when it comes down to Shawn Michaels, he's not really my favorite. I mean, I enjoy him in the ring, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, in real life, as a human being, what I've heard that Shawn Michaels is pretty much a jerk. He's arrogant and he's a smartass. From what like my cousin works at one of the centers down the road. You know, one of the places where they did the shows, and he's the assistant manager. And he was meeting all the wrestlers, and he got to meet Undertaker. I think he saw Melina, and he got to see Eddie Guerrero before he died, and that was awesome. He said Eddie Guerrero was cool as hell, and he said Eddie was a big ass motherfucker. I mean, this is like, it was like 2 weeks before he died, I believe. But anyway, he said, you know, he got to meet a lot of these wrestlers. Then when it came to meeting Shawn Michaels, some of the wrestlers were standing around, they were giving my cousin handshakes, and then Shawn Michaels comes by, and like, my cousin had his hand out, and Shawn Michaels kind of just pauses and looks at his hand and stares at him and looks at the other guys like, who's this? Who is this guy? And all the other wrestlers just looked back at Shawn and was like, man, aren't you going to shake his hand, kind of? And Shawn Michaels just shook his hand, kind of like, you know, like after you get in a fight and your parents make you shake hands so you be friends, and it's like that handshake of like you don't really mean it type of thing. And he just kind of walks on off after that. Anyway, some of the other wrestlers just kind of just say, hey, that's just how he is, and they just generally have to put up with him. But I've heard from another person that was dealing at the hotels were saying that where they were staying at, that they were serving dinner and stuff like that towards the wrestlers, and they said a lot of the wrestlers were cool. Some decided to sit by themselves, but but they were still cool. But they said Shawn Michaels is just an asshole. Like they say, he got mad if you talk to him, like if you want his autograph. Then he got mad if you act like you didn't know who he was. So basically, this is about wrestlers in real life. Who have you found to be an asshole? Have you ever had any encounters with a wrestler that turned out to be an asshole in real life? You know, on TV they act all nice guy and everything, but when you meet them in real life, they're just assholes. Granted that there could be sometimes where they're having bad days, but from what my understanding of with Shawn Michaels is, the majority of the time he's an asshole. And some of the other wrestlers admitted that he's an asshole. I also had one other friend that met Bret Hart a long time ago, and he was a big fan of Bret Hart, you know, and he saw Bret Hart at a store by chance, and he went over to Bret Hart and said, "Can I have an autograph, sir?" He was like 14 at the time, and Bret Hart just said, "Man, don't bother me, kid." You know, he just said, "I ain't got time for you. Don't bother me, kid," and just walked off. It was just like, it was horrible. Oh, but I do have to go back to my cousin that was a big fan. I mean, the one that worked as the manager down the street. He was a big fan of Shawn Michaels. I forgot to put that in ahead of the video. He is a big fan, well, was a big fan until that day it kind of broke his spirit about Shawn Michaels. He used to root for Shawn Michaels all the time and talk about him, but now it's like, fuck him. After that incident, I mean, you know, it sucks to meet somebody that you idolize and they turn out to be an asshole. But anyway, let me know about any other wrestlers or celebrities that you think, or any of y'all met that you had this problem with, and I'm out.